All right, my friends, we are going to figure out today what the cheapest place and the cheapest way to buy your cryptocurrency is. I thought this was going to be a really easy thing. I've been buying a lot of crypto in the last few weeks, and you would think it'd be very simple to figure out, where exactly the cheapest place to buy that cryptocurrency is and what the actual fees, what I call the all-in fees, what those are on each and every marketplace. So, I spent like way too much time, like 4 hours, going through a ton of different cryptocurrency marketplaces, exchanges, brokers. And basically, my goal was let's figure out the cheapest way to buy cryptocurrency, both right now and in the long term. And as you're going to see, it's a little bit different depending on what exactly you want to do with that cryptocurrency. If your goal is to immediately buy this crypto and spend it, if you want to go buy some NFTs or something and the NFT drop is in like an hour, you need that cryptocurrency immediately because you need to spend it. So that's a different situation where when you need to instantly send that crypto, you're going to need to use a debit card. And almost every situation when you're using a debit card, you're going to be able to instantly send out that crypto. So that's one situation. But if you're not in a hurry to, get this cryptocurrency, if or send the cryptocurrency, I should say, then you can use a bank transfer, which is almost always going to be free. And there's many different providers of free bank transfers out there. So, like I said, guys, let's just jump into it, and I'm going to show you exactly the cheapest places to buy all these things. Now, there's a great site called cryptoradar.co that will show you the price comparison for whatever cryptocurrency you want to buy, whether that's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or even a lot of altcoins. This site will show you the cheapest, price for Bitcoin at the moment. Now, this again is not the all-in fees, so this doesn't tell you the full story. And so this can be a good site to take a look at, and it's an interesting site. But I wanted to go through and really figure out every single one of these things, right? I wanted to figure out what is the cheapest way to buy crypto, whether I'm using debit card, whether I'm using a bank transfer, or even a credit card. So we're going to compare all of these different things, and I will show you exactly which one you should use in each situation. Now, guys, if you scroll below, you can see all the different affiliate links that I have for all of these different marketplaces. So I try to put most of those down there, and I appreciate if you use them, but it's really fine if you don't. My goal here is just to share some information. Like, I was going to do this research anyways, so I figured I would take you guys through it too and show you what right now the cheapest, the best ways to buy crypto are. And guys, there's a lot of caveats here. So I'll try to really inform you of all of the different caveats that exist with each of these marketplaces. So, like I said, one of the top concerns when you're buying cryptocurrency with fiat currency, when you're exchanging your US dollars or whatever for crypto, and this video is going to be really good for people in the United States. If you're outside of the United States, it's actually much easier to buy crypto, and it's a little bit of a different ecosystem. But in the United States, it's a pretty locked down industry still. So yeah, this is really good for US-centric people, US-based people. But one of the number one concerns is this crypto actually sendable? If you want to buy this and spend it on an NFT or send it into a different account or something, you need this thing to be sendable immediately. So there's a lot of platforms that offer really, really good rates and really good fee structures, but the crypto is either not immediately sendable or it's not sendable at all. Robinhood is actually probably the cheapest place you can, if your goal is just to buy and hold Bitcoin, or I should say get exposure to cryptocurrencies, Robinhood may be the best place to get exposure to cryptocurrencies because they have very low fees. But the problem with Robinhood is you don't actually own the cryptocurrency, right? You basically have an internal ledger inside of Robinhood. So Robinhood owns a bunch of cryptocurrency and then kind of keep track of it for you. So if you want to actually own your cryptocurrency, or if you actually want to send it out, Robinhood says that they're eventually going to launch a crypto wallet and allow people to send their cryptocurrency out. But as of yet, they haven't. So right now, you don't actually own that crypto, but you do technically get exposure to cryptocurrency through buying on Robinhood. So that's one of the best places. Now, let's see kind of like what this chart is that I brought up for you. So sendable, can we actually buy this stuff and send it out of the platform and spend this cryptocurrency? Do we actually own it? Can we have it on a hardware wallet? That's basically what sendable means. The surcharge is basically the spread. Almost every marketplace out there, no matter what fees they say they charge, they're going to have some type of surcharge or some type of spread on the actual price that they give you on Bitcoin. So, with a lot of these marketplaces, you go to buy Bitcoin at, say, 50,000, and they're actually selling you that Bitcoin at, 51,000, 52,000. So, when we look at, again, Crypto Radar, this is basically comparing all of the different spreads that exist on all of these different marketplaces. So you can see that, like, right now, or this is the 7-day average. You can even go in here and click real time. You would think it would default to real time. So you can see in real time, like, Etoro has the best price in terms of the spread. They're going to gouge you the least in terms of what price they actually quote you for the cryptocurrency that you're buying. And we can see as you go up this list, Gemini has on average a 1.6% surcharge. Coinbase has a 1.7% surcharge. So if you went to buy one Bitcoin right now on eToro, it would cost you 55,000. Whereas if you went on, Switchier, or Switchier is crazy, 11% surcharge, but it would cost you 61,350 for that exact same Bitcoin. So that's what the spread is, or the surcharge, and every single marketplace is going to have that. So that's one of the main fees that we want to see. And guys, I didn't want to just dive into the details. If you go into eToro's terms of service, you can see that they charge a 0.75% spread, they say. But when you actually put these things into calculators and you actually pull up real time, what would it cost me? What I basically did was I went through each one of these apps and I went to buy Bitcoin I went to buy Bitcoin in each one of these apps and basically quoted it against the real-time price on coinmarketcap.com. So coinmarketcap.com aggregates a lot of the prices from a lot of exchanges. So that's a pretty fair price. And we're basically, comparing what would it actually cost in real life to buy Bitcoin through each one of these marketplaces, versus the actual quoted price of Bitcoin on the internet, right? So that's your surcharge. We also have ACH fees. Surprisingly enough, guys, Coinbase is one of the only companies that does this, but Coinbase charges an ACH fee, which is really just kind of unheard of at this point. I don't think I found any other platform that charges an ACH fee. So the ACH fee is literally they're charging a 1.47% surcharge on your bank transfer. So that's crazy. Definitely don't use Coinbase. But ACH transfer is just a bank transfer. And bank transfers are going to take 3 to 5 days to clear. So when you go to buy Bitcoin, if it's coming from a bank transfer, even if it's a sendable platform, you're not going to be able to send that Bitcoin out for 3 to 5 days. It takes time for your bank transfers to clear. And even though these brokers a lot of the times will let you use the money to buy cryptocurrency before the money clears, your check could bounce for insufficient funds, right? That happens all the time. And basically, that is why you can't send your Bitcoin out with an ACH transfer, with a bank transfer, until it is cleared. So any of these platforms, if you're using ACH transfer or bank transfer, you're not going to be able to send it immediately. If you want to immediately send out the cryptocurrency that you're buying to spend it on NFTs or whatever it is, then you're going to want to use a debit card to purchase that crypto. I also have all the debit card feeds in here, so we'll go through that. And then a lot of people ask about credit cards. And honestly, I wouldn't recommend buying crypto with a credit card in the United States. There may be some workaround, some hack, but most credit card companies have gotten smart around cryptocurrency purchases. And they actually often charge cash advance fees on those purchases. So you don't want those types of fees. I, at this point, really wouldn't recommend using credit cards for crypto purchases in the United States. That being said, I didn't even find a platform that would accept credit cards in the United States. So even the platforms that say that they will, I literally went through, I have 15 credit cards, guys, and I went through every single one of them trying to see if any of them would actually work, and every single one of them was declined I don't even think they were accepted, as I was putting them into the platform. So in the US, it's really difficult to use a credit card to purchase crypto. And it's also a ripoff because not only are you going to get huge fees from wherever you're buying it from, but often your credit card company is going to hit you with cash advance fees as well, which are very high. So I wouldn't recommend doing credit, but I did check into that for you guys. And then I have some notes about each platform as well. So let me quickly kind of go through and we'll talk about each platform really quickly. At the end here, I have a nice little kind of Oscars awards ceremony for all of these platforms to show you which ones I would recommend in each circumstance. And yeah, Jacob said, "What's up with the ETH mega crash? We hit 3.6 a few minutes ago. That's awesome because I actually sold at like 4,100, and I was so upset to see it keep going. But I put a bunch of limit orders in, so I'm excited to get off of here and see how many of my orders filled. The market's running really hot right now, and you want to buy into these downturns. You want to buy into these crashes in any asset that you're trying to accumulate. Now, again, I have no financial advice here. I'm a high school dropout. Go find someone that's qualified. I certainly am not. But, personally, yeah, you want to buy into these and accumulate on the downturn. So perfect time for this video because now it sounds like a pretty good time to go through and buy some crypto. So I'll probably do that after this because honestly, I've been waiting to get into more Ethereum and it just keeps going and going. So good to hear it's finally cooling down. So Etoro, like I said, if we just let's really quick just first go through and see like what is the cheapest way to send and receive Bitcoin or buy Bitcoin, I should say. And then we'll go through like all the different caveats with each of the platforms. So if we're just looking at the surcharge, guys, and what it costs to get money into the platform, Robinhood and many, many others charge no money at all to use a debit card or an ACH transfer. So if, for some reason, if you just really want to use a debit card and you want to buy crypto, eToro and Robinhood are really the best options you got because they don't charge any fees on debit cards or ACH fees. Now, crypto.com has a 3% debit card fee, but, it got a little asterisk here. They are actually running a promotion where for the first 30 days of your account with crypto.com, they charge no debit card fees at all. So crypto.com is a good option for, the first 30 days really. Then once you have debit card fees, that becomes pretty expensive. So something to think about. But so there's essentially 3 platforms on here that you can sign up with, and with a new account, you can use a debit card right away. Now with Robinhood, there's no reason to really use a debit card because you can't send the crypto out anyways. With eToro, you can send the crypto out, but it takes like 5 days, I think it says. Give them up to 5 days to transfer the money into your eToro wallet, and then you can send it out from there. So eToro, although they do charge 0% debit card fees, they do put a limit on kind of like how long it takes to withdraw the money that you're putting in. So crypto.com right now is actually the only platform where you can sign up, you can get 0% debit card fees for the first 30 days, and you can send out the crypto that you're buying immediately. So that's really the cheapest way to, if you're trying to immediately buy cryptocurrency and send it out right now and spend it on an NFT or something, crypto.com right now seems to be the best way to do that, the cheapest way to do that. After your account has been around for 30 days on that platform, I don't know for sure, but they're telling me that my promotion goes away after 30 days. So I'll let you know if that gets extended or something. But as of right now, I would really only recommend doing that while there's a 0% debit card fee on crypto.com. So if your goal is to immediately buy cryptocurrency and spend it, crypto.com during the 0% debit card fee promotional period seems to be the best option. eToro and Robinhood, are good options, but I would really treat eToro like any other bank transfer platform. I don't see any reason to do the debit card transaction on eToro if I can't send it out for 5 days. Might as well just do a bank transfer at that point. So eToro is great price-wise, but they have, that issue. And then Robinhood, again, has really, really good prices all around, but you don't actually own that crypto. You can't ever send it out. So definitely something to think about there. Now, all of these platforms have different caveats. Like I said, eToro has the up to 5 days to process a withdrawal. They also have a $5 withdrawal fee, and they also have an inactivity fee. I actually saw in their fee structure, if you don't access your account for like 180 days or something, they actually start, or I think it's 12 months, they actually start charging you some amount of money. That sounds crazy to me, but it makes sense why they can, quote such good prices in terms of the surcharge or the spread. Oops, sorry guys. Because they have all these weird little caveat fees on the back end. Now, PayPal is a popular option now that, they're accumulating quite a lot of cryptocurrency. I actually was not able to access PayPal's cryptocurrency platform no matter how hard I tried. So I can't tell you guys if it's good or bad. I can't tell you what the surcharge was. But what I can tell you is that it's not sendable, and it's pretty much the same as Robinhood at this point in that you don't actually own your crypto. So something to think about there. That gets us out of like these retail platforms that have started doing crypto, and it gets us into these platforms that are just crypto centric. So I looked at a lot of these different platforms. I've really looked at like every single way to buy crypto here, and let me take you through it. So as many people will tell you, and it's amazing to see how bad Coinbase is gouging their customers. The fees on Coinbase are horrendous. I can't believe, what we're looking at here. We're seeing a 3.8% debit card fee. So if you want to instantly buy crypto on Coinbase and send it out to spend it on an NFT or, exchange it into a shit coin or something, at that point, you're going to have to pay a 3.8%, almost 4% debit card fee. That's absolutely crazy. And then on top of that, you're going to pay almost 1% in terms of the spread or the surcharge. So, Coinbase is just horrendously expensive. And although you can purchase and send out your crypto immediately, it is one of the worst price structures I've seen. So I wouldn't really recommend using Coinbase. Coinbase Pro, obviously, a lot more people recommend. Coinbase Pro doesn't accept debit cards at all, so you cannot instantly purchase and send out crypto from Coinbase Pro. Coinbase Pro is an exchange, right? And we're going to kind of go through a lot of different exchanges and brokers, and these companies are structured in different ways and offer different prices because of that. But Coinbase is essentially like a broker service, right? They will go purchase these things for you and charge you an arm and a leg for it. Coinbase Pro is an exchange, and in there you can put money in with a bank transfer for free, but you are not able to use a debit card at all. So you're going to have to wait 3 to 5 days for that money to clear and for you to be able to withdraw it. And Coinbase Pro, when I actually logged in, I saw a 0.02% spread between the current price on coin market cap or something, and the current price that I can actually get on Coinbase Pro. Now, on top of the spread, we're also going to have to pay the exchange fee. Coinbase Pro has a 0.5% exchange fee. So on top of all of this stuff we're looking at and the spread of what we can actually get the coin at, Coinbase Pro is going to charge us a 0.5% exchange fee on any amount that we put through as well. So there's essentially a 0.52% fee on Coinbase Pro, we could say. If we go down to Gemini, Gemini is a pretty popular broker, and I think they do actually have an exchange as well. But Gemini is outrageously expensive as well, and they have a really, really confusing hidden fee structure. There's a ton of weird hidden fees in there. So I really am not a fan of Gemini after looking into it. They have a 0.087% surcharge. So that's the spread of what we can actually get. So that's actually, what is it? 4 times, almost 5 times worse than Coinbase Pro. So 5 times more expensive in terms of the spread in terms of Coinbase Pro against Coinbase Pro. And then they also charge a 3.49% debit card fee. So if you want to instantly purchase and send out, and a lot of people use Gemini to instantly purchase with a debit card and send it out. A terrible platform to use. It's really unfortunate to see that Coinbase and Gemini, the two platforms that are probably the most popular in terms of people actually purchasing crypto, are some of the worst in terms of prices and hidden fees. Gemini also has a 0.35% exchange fee. And like I said, on top of that, they have a lot of hidden fees as well. So pretty horrendous fee structure there. And depending on what you're doing, it does end up being a little bit cheaper than Coinbase Pro if you're going through the exchange and you're using a bank transfer. But Gemini doesn't seem like the best option either. Next, we'll look at crypto.com, and crypto.com ended up being one of my favorites, and this is the one that I'm currently using to purchase and send out crypto immediately. So if I'm using a debit card, I'm currently using crypto.com. Their stuff is instantly sendable, so you can purchase with a debit card, send it out instantly. Now, again, if we're using a bank transfer, can't instantly send, so keep that in mind. 0.75% surcharge, which at face value is going to seem very high, but if I'm able to purchase with a debit card for free, get it at a 0.75% surcharge, there's no exchange fee at all. My all-in fees on this are 0.75%. And you might say, well, why don't you use Coinbase Pro? Because that was only 0.52%. Coinbase Pro, you can only get money in with a bank transfer. So if I want to instantly buy crypto and send it out, let's keep in mind that crypto.com to do that is 0.75%. During that promotional period. Once that 30-day period is over, I'm probably not going to use crypto.com to purchase crypto at all anymore, honestly. So the fact that they have 0% fees for 30 days on debit card transactions is really the main reason I'm using them right now. So my favorite platform to instantly buy and send crypto is crypto.com at the moment. Kraken is a really popular one, and Kraken had a really good surcharge. They effectively had no surcharge, so that was great to see. But they do have a 0.26% exchange fee. So again, a lot of people will tell you like Kraken has no fees. All of these platforms are going to have fees baked in some way, shape, or form. Kraken has very little surcharge, but they do have a 0.26% exchange fee, and you can only get money in with a wire transfer. So depending on the amount of money that you're putting in, this could be great. A wire transfer is generally going to cost like $40 in the US. So that can be a great option, 0.26% on Kraken.com. Cash App, interestingly enough, Cash App ends up being one of the cheapest places to buy crypto as well. After the 0% promotional period ends on crypto.com, Cash App actually ends up being the second cheapest place outside of that to buy crypto and instantly send it out. And this is pretty amazing for me to see. But yeah, once the 0% promo period is done on crypto.com, I will probably start using Cash App if I instantly want to buy and send out that crypto. Now, if I just want to buy crypto and send it out a few days later, I'm just going to use a bank transfer, right? So I'm not going to go to Etoro because they have a 0% debit card fee. I'm just going to use a bank transfer at that point. So Cash App, 1.758% debit card transaction fee. And then they have a 0.057% spread, which is very, very fair. And they also, one of the cool things about Cash App is you can pretty much use any debit card with them. One of the big problems when you're trying to use debit cards to purchase crypto, like if you're using the Robinhood debit card, that is one of the toughest credit cards in terms of getting it to hook up with crypto platforms. So that was the one I used in this example. And the Robinhood debit card literally worked with almost none of these things except for Cash App. It works perfectly with Cash App. So because Cash App is used for so many different things outside of crypto, there's a lot of debit cards that if you can't use them with these other platforms, Cash App will probably accept that debit card. So Cash App not only has pretty fair fees, you're paying just under 2% all in, but has a lot of flexibility in terms of the cards you can use. Now, there's a great tool called Metamask, and it's a Chrome extension. They have an app as well. It's a tool that allows you to log into your wallet and manage your wallet. Now, if you go to purchase crypto through Metamask, there's two different services that you can use, and tons of different kind of platforms in the cryptoverse will use these platforms as well. So Wire and Transact, especially when you're buying Ethereum, you'll see that Wire and Transact are two of the really, really popular services. Now, again, you can go buy Ethereum with a debit card and instantly send it out with crypto.com, 0% fees for the first 30 days. So that's what I'd recommend there. Wire and Transact are really heavily pushed because they're easy to integrate in people's applications, but oh my God, are they horrendously expensive. Over 4% fees with Wire and well over 6, 7, almost 8% fees or something with Transact. So these two you just should not use in any way, shape, and form or form. Those are highly recommended against. Again, if you're trying to buy Ethereum and send it out instantly, you might as well use crypto.com during that promo period. And because that is rough. And then if I wanted to buy Ethereum and I was outside of the crypto.com promo period, I would still use Cash App. And you're going to say, well, Cash App only allows you to buy Bitcoin. What you would do in that circumstance is buy Bitcoin on Cash App, send it out to one of the exchanges that have a very low exchange fee, and then swap your Bitcoin for Ethereum on that marketplace. So again, this video is all about getting your fiat money into the cryptoverse. What is the cheapest, lowest fee structure to do that? That's really what we're discussing here. And guys, if you have any further questions about like the crypto universe, I know my YouTube channel is not really about crypto. I'm just getting into this, but I'm getting a ton of questions about this stuff. So feel free to keep the questions coming in the comments below, and we'll use those to make future videos as well. Now, two other marketplaces that I got like 5 more for you, and we'll speed through them. Local cryptos and Bisq work a little bit differently than all of the other platforms I've mentioned so far. Local cryptos and Bisq are both peer-to-peer platforms, peer-to-peer marketplaces. So what these allow you to do is like any person can go on and list, I want to buy this much Bitcoin with, Zeal, with Venmo, with, Amazon gift cards. Now, I haven't used local cryptos or Bisq, but I did want to mention them here. And like Bisq, to me, it seems like if you're up to any illegal activity, it seems like Bisq is really good for that because there's like no verification of identity at all on Bisq, which is pretty surprising to see. But local cryptos and Bisq effectively are the two peer-to-peer marketplaces. I don't really recommend using them. I haven't used them personally, but I did want to cover them and just see like what are the peer-to-peer marketplace fees versus the exchange and the actual kind of businesses offering these services. So local cryptos is a 15% surcharge on the current price of crypto, and it also has a 0.75 exchange fee. And one of the cool things is there's many different payment methods, both with Bisq and local cryptos. Both Bisq and local cryptos, though, have extremely high fees, 0.7, 0.75% fees. And outside of that, you have the actual surcharge on what can you actually get the Bitcoin for. Local cryptos is insanely expensive, so I don't see much of a reason to use that one. But Bisq actually didn't have bad spreads at all. Bisq seemed like a much more competitive marketplace with all of the different exchanges that exist. So again, I personally haven't used Bisq, but I'm sure there's people out there that for whatever reason are into that one. And it's interesting to see that Bisq has an extremely competitive price structure. If you're paying the 0.75 or the 0.7% exchange fee on Bisq, along with the 0.018, so you're paying 0.718, which is actually cheaper than crypto.com. Now, with Bisq, everything is instantly sendable, but you have to wait for the transaction to happen. Whatever payment method you and the other party are using has to actually clear. So this may sometimes be instant. It may sometimes take weeks. I haven't used these platforms, but Bisq, it does at least seem really competitive price-wise and fee structure-wise to these other platforms. It's actually probably the cheapest one on here. 3 more that I want to go through really quick. Kucoin. Kucoin's really popular, and a lot of people think it has no fees at all. It does have some fees, but oh my God, is it cheap? Kucoin is almost the cheapest one on here. I think it is the cheapest one on here. Kucoin actually had a negative spread when I looked at it, and I'm sure this isn't how it always is, but yeah, Kucoin, when I looked at it the 3 times, it actually had a negative spread. So the price that was quoted on coinmarketcap.com, you could actually get Bitcoin cheaper on Kucoin, which was interesting. It has a 2.99% debit card fee. And so the interesting thing about Kucoin is like you can't use a bank transfer to get money into Kucoin. It does have P2P markets in it. It has a 0.1% exchange fee, so it's got an extremely cheap fee. But the only way to get money into Kucoin is with a debit card or to put crypto, to send your crypto into your Kucoin wallet. So, Kucoin is probably not the best platform to actually get your fiat money into the cryptoverse. But in terms of, down the line, if you want to switch into some other coin or something, you want to switch your Bitcoin for Ethereum or your Ethereum for Cardano or whatever it is, Kucoin does seem to be a very low fee structure, very low spreads. And the only challenge is it's not a great platform to actually get fiat money into the platform. Binance is a pretty good platform. Binance is actually one of the ones that I mainly use. It has a 0.664% surcharge. That's the spread on the price of Bitcoin again. Everything's instantly sendable. Anything that clears, it's instantly sendable in Binance once it clears. 0% fee on bank transfers in, 4.5% fee on debit cards. So you don't want to use Binance for instant, debit card transactions. But in terms of their actual exchange fee and surcharge, they're pretty fair. They have a 0.1% exchange fee, just like Kucoin. So Kucoin and Binance actually have the lowest exchange fees of any exchanges. And the one thing you do want to watch out for on Binance, though, they have a 0.5% fee on instant transactions. So Binance will always try to funnel you into these pages where, it's really easy to just exchange your Bitcoin for US dollars or whatever. Those instant transactions, those instant conversions have a 0.5% transaction fee. Whereas if you just go into the exchange and, buy or sell there, it has a 0.1% fee. So watch out for that because it's 5 times higher fees. But yeah, so that is pretty much it. And then you also have something called Ramp, which someone asked me to look at. Ramp has a decent fee structure, pretty competitive in terms of all the fees, really. But I would still use Cash App to onboard your fiat dollars into the cryptoverse. Now, that brings us to our little award ceremony here. So the overall cheapest way to buy crypto, guys, is Robinhood. And if you're just looking to get exposure to the crypto world, you don't care about the wallets, you just want like safe exposure to crypto, Robinhood's probably the best way to do it. They have the lowest surcharge, they have the lowest fees. Robinhood's a really good option for just getting exposure to the crypto world. Now, the big problem with that, again, is you don't actually own your crypto. You can't send it out. So for actually being able to use your crypto, you're going to want to use a different platform. For immediate buy and send, if you want to buy this with a debit card right now and go send it to spend it on some, the Gary V NFTs launching next week. So if you are in a rush and you want to send this crypto out immediately, then you're going to use, in my opinion, crypto.com is the way to go. Crypto.com, I have some type of bonus. If you click the link below, you get like $25 for free. So that's cool. But you also have 0% debit card fees for the first 30 days. Outside of that, you want to stop using crypto.com for instant buy and send. If they continue the 0% debit card fees, that's great. Let's keep on using crypto.com. But as soon as there's not 0% fees, we need to reanalyze the fee structure because Cash App gives us a very, very cheap, under 2% all-in fees to onboard our crypto or onboard our fiat dollars into crypto and instantly be able to send those out. So Cash App, really good option. They also give you the ability to use a lot of debit cards that other platforms won't. Bisq and Kucoin are both decent for this as well, but nowhere near as good as the 0% on crypto or the under 2% on Cash App. Now, if you don't care about instantly being able to send this crypto out of that wallet, then you're like, okay, I just want to do a bank transfer in. I am fine waiting 3 to 5 days for it to clear. I don't need to send this out anytime soon. So, if you do a bank transfer into Binance, into Coinbase Pro, both of these are going to be extremely low fees, well under 1% all-in fees. And you're going to be able to instantly start using the cryptocurrency that you purchase, right? So I can do a bank transfer into Binance, I can do a bank transfer into Coinbase Pro, and I can instantly start buying and selling as much as I want. However, if I want to send it out of the platform, if I want to send it to a different platform, I got to wait for the 3 to 5 day ACH transfer to clear. So if that's your situation, I would recommend Binance or Coinbase Pro. Those are going to be the cheapest, well under 1% all-in fees. The cheapest exchange in general is Kucoin. And the problem again with Kucoin is that there's no fiat on-ramp. There's really no effective 2.99% fee to actually get money onto the platform. So Kucoin is not a bad place to have your crypto in terms of an exchange to use. But there is no on-ramp. And for newbies, I think a lot of newbies are probably going to be better off using one of the other platforms we've mentioned. Again, I think crypto.com along with Binance is a really good option. I personally use Binance over Coinbase Pro because Binance has like hundreds of coins. They have all sorts of different derivatives and just fun stuff that I can do. Whereas Coinbase Pro is it is an exchange and that is it. So it's pretty limited. So I really like the combination of crypto.com/Cash App with Binance. That's like my personal stack right now. If you're going to do wire transfers in and you don't want to do ACH transfers, then you should look at Kraken. Kraken has a really, really good fee structure if you're doing wire transfers in. And definitely an honorable mention to Etoro. Etoro has really good spreads, and it's interesting to see, these really kind of legacy investment companies start to get into the crypto world. So definitely honorable mention to Etoro. They are really they have a really competitive fee structure, and as time goes on, I wouldn't be surprised to see Etoro become a bigger and bigger player and a more competitive player in this market as well. So that's my recommendation, guys. I would recommend crypto.com for the first 30 days, 0% debit card fees, and using that for your instant buy and send. And a lot of the times I want to instantly buy and send crypto. If I'm not going to instant buy and send, I'll just ACH transfer in to Binance or Coinbase and just start exchanging there. So those are the platforms I recommend. Those are the cheapest ways to do it, guys. And feel free, if you have any questions, we'll jump into the question box for a second. And hopefully that helps you guys. Yeah, we talked about the Ethereum crash. I'm excited to get off and see how many of my orders filled. Life Goes On, bro, said, is this live? This is most certainly live, my friend. Welcome to the show. I'll tell you, it costs a lot of money to edit YouTube videos, and it takes a lot of time. And I feel like I can get all of the value out to you guys. And the people that really need to hear this stuff are going to be fine with like a 35-minute video. They want to hear the little details, So yeah, I really more and more like doing these live edits, these live streams, rather than the really edited down YouTube videos. Those things take so much time. They cost a lot to edit. And I think you guys honestly get more value out of these ones. Boo Etoro. Yeah, I definitely, I don't recommend Etoro really, but it is interesting to see. Again, Etoro, they have one of the lowest spreads on all these different tools, but they've almost realized that that's a marketing asset, right? If they're able to make money on the back end with withdrawal fees and inactivity fees, then all right, we'll give you a better spread and we'll get that free marketing on all of these tools that are showing you the cheapest Bitcoin, right? So I definitely don't recommend Etoro. Ironically, even though crypto.com has a 0.75% surcharge, it's by far the cheapest way to move money from a debit card into crypto and instantly use it. So I really think that's the best one right now and have no reason to recommend Etoro, but honorable mention to him. I was surprised to see him in the running. Have any suggestions for me? Just keep rocking on, my friend. Take action, be positive. Gratitude every day. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, if you want to get more specific, though. Deanna said, thanks so much. No problem. Barry said, how do you get cash fastest? I'll do another video about how to offboard your crypto. So once you have crypto, how do we get it out of the cryptoverse and into US dollars? I'll do another video about that. This one I want to keep just on onboarding fiat dollars into crypto. Barry said, Coinbase, Binance, Uphold. Yeah, you're all over the place. I also looked at Voyager. Voyager has cheap fees in some ways, but they have all sorts of problems in terms of withdrawal times and limits. Voyager is, again, a broker, not an exchange. So interesting enough, when you put an order through to sell on, and BlockFi is essentially the same way. BlockFi, Voyager, these are brokers that when you put a sell in on those platforms, they have to actually go to an exchange to clear your order. So that's why there is a time period and a fee associated with some of these platforms. But if you're comfortable getting onto the exchanges, 0.1% fee with a very low surcharge on Binance is great. Coinbase Pro, also a great option. So good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, Barry, like I said, I'll do another video soon about how to offboard your cryptocurrency into US dollars as well. But good stuff, guys. All right, that's all the questions. I think we have talked all we can about the cheapest places and the best places to buy crypto in all of the different circumstances and situations that you might run into. If you're trying to instantly buy your crypto and send it out to spend it on an NFT or something, then you're going to need to use a debit card, and you're going to want to look at all of those debit card fees that we showed you. And in that situation, I'd recommend crypto.com for the first 30 days, and then probably moving over to Cash App, which has under 2% fees for debit transactions in. If you're willing to wait 3 to 5 days and you just want to buy some crypto and start trading, Binance and Coinbase Pro are great options for that. And surprisingly enough, like if you're just looking to get exposure to crypto and you don't care about all this stuff with wallets, I'll be honest, guys, if you're new in the crypto world, there's an argument to be made that you don't even need to be dealing with all these wallets and these exchanges. Like that is risk. So there's an argument to be made. If you're like a 65-year-old retiree on this call right now, but you're saying, I want to get some exposure to crypto, look at Robinhood, because Robinhood gives you really low cost exposure to crypto. You technically don't own it yourself, so you can't send it out, but you do get exposure in a really safe and low fee way. So that's all the different ways. And guys, keep in mind too, like once you have crypto, if your goal is to long-term buy and hold, Robinhood's probably not the best place to long-term buy and hold either. So like BlockFi will give you 5.5% interest. If you scroll below, I have a link to BlockFi. Like BlockFi is a terrible platform to actually buy crypto on, but holding crypto inside of BlockFi, not too bad. I think I'm getting like 6% interest on my Ethereum inside of BlockFi. So I'll do another video about like the best place to hold your crypto. I'll do another video on the best place to withdraw and offboard your crypto into fiat dollars. But for now, you guys know the cheapest ways to buy crypto, whether with a debit card or a bank transfer. And I think we've talked into the ground. Good stuff. Yeah, Pancake Swap's awesome as well. I just bought a bunch. I have a bunch of orders on cake and sushi as well. Pancake Swap, Sushi Swap. Again, if you're just getting started in the crypto universe, it's going to take some time for you to get there. But yeah. Barry said, how do I do things like Pancake Swap? How do these things differ from Binance? So Binance is an exchange. They also have a wallet. Like a wallet is something that you use to access your assets on a blockchain. An exchange is basically like an internal exchange that you can buy and sell all these different cryptocurrencies on. You can send your crypto out to a wallet at that point, but the exchange is really just for buying and selling, and that's what Binance is. They do have a wallet called Trust Wallet as well. And then Pancake Swap basically gives you the ability, and tools like Uniswap, Pancake Swap, Sushi Swap, these things give you the ability to easily invest in what we'll call alternative assets. Outside of what's listed on Binance, there are like thousands, millions of coins out there. So Sushi Swap, Pancake Swap, Uniswap, these all allow you to easily swap your coins around into these altcoins, and shit coins, a lot of them too. But Pancake Swap, Sushi Swap, those things are really good for that. Now, again, we're going to wrap up this video because I don't want to make it go too long, but because I do want to stay focused on the cheapest ways to buy crypto, but lots of good questions. And yeah, Amethyst said another place to buy crypto is MoonPay, wouldn't recommend it. I really looked everywhere I could. It's going to be hard to find for debit card transactions it's going to be hard to beat crypto.com at 0% for the first 30 days. It's even going to be hard to beat Cash App at less than 2%. That's really tough to beat. And And if you're using bank transfers to move money in, there really shouldn't be any fees at all. If I was moving money in with bank transfers, I would not pay any fee, and I would refuse to pay a fee. So if your platform's trying to get you to pay a fee on bank transfers in, just don't do it, because there's absolutely platforms that allow you to do that for free. All right, my friends. Yeah, Barry said Kucoin is now non-US only, so you can't be in the US and use Kucoin. I did not know that. You can use a VPN, as Barry says. Barry says you can use a VPN to access different platforms. So like Binance.com, there's a Binance.com, there's a Binance.us. I used to have a Binance.com account, and then they shut down in the US. If I turn on a VPN, I'm able to access that account, and I don't know what I'm able to do with it, but Barry says you can turn on a VPN and access, Binance, Kucoin. A lot of these exchanges that aren't available in the US are really only looking at IP address. So keep that in mind, according to Barry. Thanks, Barry. Good point there. All right, guys, I will wrap it up here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We got all of our Oscar picks down here, all of our award ceremony guys, and I'll put this up on the screen to end it in case anyone wants to pause. This is kind of the overall fees from everybody. I wish I could get it all on the screen, but hopefully this helps, guys, and excited for all of you getting into the crypto world. I have just recently become a crypto degen, and it's a bright, bright future ahead for the crypto world. So excited to go there with you guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and we'll do another video very soon.